Welcome to Neon Primer Go-to-Market, where Vega and Axon break down go-to-market strategy for founders who are done guessing. New episode every week.
Getting 10 million views on a TikTok video sounds like, it sounds like the ultimate small business dream, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure.
Right. Like you imagine a local restaurant owner waking up, checking their phone, and realizing a clip of, their signature burger just went completely viral overnight.
The absolute dream scenario. Or so they think.
Yeah, exactly. Because, well, did you know that going instantly viral without a safety net is actually one of the fastest ways for a local restaurant to accidentally go bankrupt?
It sounds incredibly counterintuitive, I know.
Yeah.
You would think a line wrapping around the block is basically a golden ticket.
Right. You're printing money.
Exactly. But in reality, if you haven't built the infrastructure to handle that sudden spotlight, you aren't winning the lottery. You're essentially inviting a systemic operational failure.
And that is exactly what we are getting into today. According to our research, treating virality as some sort of like creative lottery that you just hope to win is a massive mistake.
A huge mistake.
So today's mission for this deep dive is to decipher the precise engineered mechanics of viral restaurant campaigns. We are looking at how small, independent spots execute these campaigns safely.
Which is so important for the independent owners out there.
Totally, because whether you are a foodie, a marketing nerd, or just someone who loves a good behind-the-scenes breakdown understanding how this works, it really changes the way you look at your social media feed.
It really does. You'll never look at a cheese pull the same way.
So true. Okay, let's unpack this. Because true virality isn't just a view count, right? It's a measurable chain reaction.
Yeah, and to really understand that chain reaction, we have to completely redefine what viral actually means in a commercial context.
Redefine it how?
Well, because in a world of constant information overload, raw attention can actually be a massive liability.
Okay, let's talk about those 10 million views I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Because I think most people just assume that, that level of exposure is universally good.
Right.
Why would, say, a small diner in Ohio be upset about 10 million people seeing their food?
Because of a concept called qualified reach.
Qualified reach, okay.
Yeah. It basically just means getting your content in front of people who can actually walk through your front door and buy something.
Oh, I see.
Right. So if a diner in Ohio goes viral globally and 9 million of those viewers live in London or Sydney.
They're not buying a burger anytime soon.
Exactly. Those views are commercially useless. And worse, they might actually flood your phone lines, leave irrelevant reviews, and just create this digital chaos that doesn't translate into a single dollar of actual revenue.
So you're just getting all the digital noise and literally none of the actual foot traffic.
Precisely. And, let's say the reach is local. What if the featured menu item has terrible profit margins?
Oh, right. You're selling out of the thing that makes you the least money.
Exactly. Or let's say the sudden surge in demand completely crashes your kitchen. Your ticket times go from like 15 minutes to an hour.
Yikes. That's a nightmare.
It is. Your regular loyal customers, the ones who actually pay your rent during the slow months they show up, get terrible service because the kitchen is completely underwater, and they decide, you know what, I'm never coming back.
Wow. So a localized video that gets, say, just 50,000 views might actually be the holy grail rather than a global video with 50 million views.
100%.
Because if those 50,000 people are in a 5-mile radius and they fill up your dining room on a slow Tuesday afternoon, that is actual sustainable growth.
Which brings us right to the core of this entire strategy, which our research calls the viral value equation.
The math behind the magic.
Exactly. This is the mathematical reality behind the hype. So the expected financial value of a viral campaign equals your qualified reach, multiplied by the probability of a visit.
Okay, holding that in my head.
Multiplied by the average profit per transaction, multiplied by a repeat factor.
Wow. Okay.
And then, of course, you have to subtract the actual cost of the campaign.
Wait, let me just visualize this for a second. So qualified reach is the local audience.
Right.
Probability of a visit is like how persuasive the video actually is.
Yes.
Average profit is what they actually spend when they get there. And the repeat factor is whether the food was good enough to make them come back again.
That's it. You nailed it. And the really terrifying part of that equation is that it's all multiplication.
Meaning if 1 is 0.
Exactly. If any single one of those terms is 0, the entire campaign's value drops to 0.
Wow.
If the reach isn't local,
Yeah.
0. If the kitchen crashes, the food comes out cold and they never come back.
The repeat factor is zero.
The repeat factor is zero. The entire campaign just collapses, and you've likely lost money in the process.
The operational danger really is like a hidden iceberg here. I mean, look at the famous Taco Bell Mexican pizza relaunch a few years ago.
Oh, yeah. That's a perfect example.
It went incredibly viral, right?
Yeah.
But the demand was, I think our research said, 7 times higher than their corporate projections.
7 times, which is wild.
It caused widespread ingredient sellouts across the entire country. And that's a massive multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Right. Now take that and apply that pressure to a mom-and-pop shop. We see this all the time with the Keith Lee effect on TikTok.
Oh, yeah. His reviews are crazy powerful.
Insanely powerful. There are these incredible stories of him reviewing struggling independent spots. One place, a spot called 303 in the Cut, went from having 2 employees to 21 basically overnight.
That is unbelievable.
They opened the next day to roughly 140 waiting customers.
Okay, I see the danger, obviously, but I have to ask, isn't figuring it out on the fly just kind of part of the hustle?
What do you mean?
Like, if a small shop suddenly has a massive line out the door, shouldn't they just ride the wave? I mean, even if it's chaotic, they're making cash hand over fist that weekend, right?
Well, what's fascinating here is that a massive revenue spike can actually camouflage deeply unprofitable demand.
Wait, how so? If the register is literally ringing nonstop, aren't they making money?
Not necessarily.
Uh-huh.
Imagine the item that went viral is super labor intensive, like, I don't know, a really complex stuffed pastry.
Okay.
Or maybe it was heavily discounted for a specific promotion. Now your staff is working overtime, you're paying rush delivery fees for extra ingredients just to keep up, and the kitchen is wearing down its equipment.
Oh, I see.
You might actually be working 3 times as hard just to lose money at an accelerated rate.
That is bleak.
Yeah. Without a conversion and retention layer,
Yeah.
some kind of mechanism to actually capture these people, it's just a stress test. It's not a business model.
A conversion layer, so meaning you don't just want them to buy a sandwich, you want to get their information.
Exactly. You need like an SMS wait list,
Yeah.
a loyalty program sign up, or even just a QR code on the receipt that gives them a discount on their next visit.
Right.
You have to turn that temporary, chaotic attention into an owned customer relationship. Otherwise, you're literally just renting eyeballs for the weekend and burning out your staff in the process.
Right. That completely flips the script. Uncontrolled vanity virality isn't a marketing win at all. It's an operational hazard.
A huge hazard.
Which means if a restaurant actually wants to engineer a controlled viral campaign, the very first step has absolutely nothing to do with hiring a PR firm or, a social media manager.
Not at all.
It starts with stepping back into the kitchen and engineering the food itself.
Yes. The foundational rule of this entire space is that the product is the media unit.
The product is the media unit.
Right. The food you are trying to promote must communicate instantly on a phone screen in total silence. You cannot rely on a long voiceover or some huge caption to explain why a dish is special.
Because honestly, people scroll with the sound off and they make a decision in about, what, a second and a half?
Exactly. So the menu item has to have a really distinctive silhouette or a wildly saturated color or some kind of interactive serving ritual built right into the dish.
Let's look at how the major players do it, because I think small independents can really learn the mechanics from them. Like McDonald's did the Purple Grimace shake.
Yes, visually unmistakable.
Right. A bright purple drink instantly stops the scroll, and it tapped into this bizarre participatory nostalgia.
Or take Chili's with their pull-apart mozzarella sticks. They didn't just advertise cheese. They engineered a product with built-in motion.
Ooh, the cheese pull.
The cheese pull. When you break it apart, you get this dramatic visual transformation of the cheese stretching. It's undeniable visual proof to the viewer that the food is hot, gooey, and delicious.
You really see the strategy everywhere once you start looking for it. Like Panera created the baguette purse, which is just
A literal handbag shaped like a sandwich.
yeah, it played completely on the absurdity of high fashion. Or Subway rolled out that massive foot-long cookie. The visual alone instantly communicates scale and indulgence. Like, you don't need any explanation for a foot-long cookie.
No explanation needed at all.
Here's where it gets really interesting to me, though. It's almost like the chef is functioning as a special effects coordinator for a movie.
Ooh, I like that.
Right. They are designing a practical effect. A cheese pull, a crazy sauce pour, a neon color, but with the massive constraint that this special effect actually has to taste amazing, hold its temperature, and cost under $5 to produce.
That is a brilliant way to conceptualize it. because that operational constraint is exactly what separates a cheap gimmick from a true hero product.
Right.
A local chef might invent this incredible flaming dessert that looks absolutely amazing on camera. But if it takes 10 minutes to plate, requires a literal blowtorch, and costs the restaurant $12 in ingredients,
It's a disaster.
it fails the operational test completely. A true hero product has strong, predictable operational economics. You have to know the exact prep time, the target food cost, and, crucially, it has to hold up physically.
Right, because if a customer orders it and then spends like 3 minutes trying to get the perfect lighting for their own TikTok video and then finally takes a bite.
It still has to taste good.
Exactly. If it turns into a soggy mess, you've lost that repeat customer. Chili's turnaround wasn't just because of TikTok hype. It worked because the food quality and the kitchen operations actually backed up the hype once the customer sat down to eat.
And we also have to ask why customers are even willing to do the marketing for these restaurants in the first place. Like, why do people share this stuff?
I used to think people just liked bragging about eating at expensive places. But it's much deeper than that, right?
Much deeper. When someone shares a video of a local hero product, they're rarely just sharing food. They are sharing psychological triggers.
Like what?
Well, they're sharing identity signaling, showing local pride that their neighborhood spot is doing something really cool.
Okay, yeah.
They're sharing that visual transformation we talked about just to get a reaction from their friends. Or they're sharing participation, like buying a massive platter of wings and 3 different sauces just so they can rank them on camera.
So they are basically casting themselves as the star of their own food show. Okay, so we're back in the kitchen of our hypothetical independent restaurant. We've engineered this visually stunning, operationally bulletproof hero product. Now, how do we actually get the cameras on it?
Right, the distribution.
Yeah, because I feel like the instinct for a lot of people would be, I need to save up my entire marketing budget and pay one massive celebrity to endorse my sandwich.
And for an independent restaurant, that is a catastrophic misallocation of resources.
Really catastrophic.
Yes, the winning strategy is not a macro influencer. It is a local creator seeding program. You want to seed your product with dozens of highly relevant, much smaller creators.
Because of that qualified reach we talked about earlier.
Yes, yeah.
Because if a celebrity has 10 million followers globally, but only like 50 of them actually live in your zip code, you've completely wasted your money.
Wasted it. You
Yeah.
are so much better off inviting 20 local nano creators people with maybe 3,000 to 10,000 followers who focus specifically on your city's food scene.
Yes, local relevance, audience trust, and geographic proximity will always, always outperform raw, unfocused follower counts for a brick-and-mortar business.
Always. Now, there are anomalies, right? We can look at massive brand collaborations like the Erewhon and Hailey Bieber smoothie.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
According to our research, that $18 drink was doing an estimated $720,000 in monthly gross sales.
Which is just astronomical.
It is. But that scale, with that level of celebrity reach and premium pricing, is lightning in a bottle. It relies on a pre-existing cultural phenomenon.
It's not a template.
No, it is absolutely not a replicable playbook for a small independent trying to build a stable, loyal customer base in their own neighborhood.
So we focus on the local nano creators, but wait, if we are bringing in 20 local foodies who aren't necessarily, professional actors, how do we make sure their videos don't just sound like stiff robotic commercials?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right, because the second I hear someone reading a corporate script on my feed, I swipe past it instantly.
You've hit on the fundamental tension of creator marketing. Control versus authenticity. The moment a business owner hands a creator a rigid corporate script, they strip away the entire reason that creator has an audience in the first place.
So true.
Overly scripted content removes the creator's unique advantage, which is their personal connection, their slang, and their genuine tone of voice.
Which means the restaurant owner has to learn how to write a brilliant creator brief. You can't just say, make a video about my burger. And you can't write the script for them either. You have to find that perfect middle ground.
The goal of the brief is to drive track trial, meaning we want to prove that this specific video caused a person to visit. And to do that without ruining the vibe of the video, a good brief has 3 specific components.
Okay, let's break those down.
First, you provide the core truth. This is the single most defensible, interesting fact about your product. For example, we bake this bread fresh every 3 hours.
So you give them the anchor, but you let them build the ship.
I love that. Yes. Second, you give them a show clearly list. These are the non-negotiable visuals.
Like what?
They absolutely must show themselves taking the first bite. They must show the storefront or the neighborhood to establish location, and they must show the restaurant name clearly.
And then comes the part I find most crucial for a small business, the avoid list. Because while we want creative freedom, there are definitely lines you cannot cross.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The avoid list is your legal and brand shield. You explicitly tell them, no unsupported health claims. You cannot say this smoothie cures a cold.
Right.
No unsafe food handling on camera. And absolutely no hiding the sponsorship.
That last one is huge. Hiding a paid partnership is a severe Federal Trade Commission, or FTC, violation.
It's no joke.
If a small shop gets hit with an FTC fine because a 22-year-old creator forgot to use the hashtag ad, that could literally bankrupt the business.
Which is exactly why the boundaries must be completely clear. But beyond the core truth, the show clearly list, and the avoid list, you really must step back and provide absolute creative freedom.
Let them do their thing.
Yes. Let the creator choose the hook, the music, the pacing, and the editing style. The audience is theirs, not yours.
But the brief also needs what our research called a trackable call to action. How does a small shop actually track if a specific video worked?
The most common method is a POS code, a point of sale code. So you give the creator a unique keyword like, tell the cashier midnight burger for a free side of fries.
Ah, smart.
Yeah. When the cashier punches that specific code into the register, the owner can look at the data at the end of the month and know exactly how many sales were driven by that specific creator.
Right.
Alternatively, you can use a specific digital waitlist link right in their bio.
That makes total sense. Now, once these 20 local creators post their videos, how do we know which one to put our paid advertising budget behind? Do we just, spread the money out evenly?
Absolutely not. The rule of thumb is do not dump money into a creative concept right away.
Okay.
You publish all the organic variants first, and you let the market decide. Measurement is everything here.
So you just wait for the evidence. You only place paid amplification behind the specific posts that materially exceed that creator's normal baseline.
Wait a second.
You're not just looking at raw views, right? You're looking for higher watch times, more shares, and specifically map taps.
Yes, map taps are a phenomenal metric. It means someone watched the video, clicked the location tag, and actually opened Google Maps or Apple Maps to see how far away the restaurant is.
That is super high intent behavior.
Exactly. You also look for qualified comments. So not just far emojis, but people actually tagging their friends saying, hey, we're going here on Friday.
It's like throwing a bunch of different sparks into dry brush. You wait to see which one actually catches fire on its own, and only then do you pour your expensive gasoline on it.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this is how virality transitions from a blind lottery ticket into a highly efficient experimental distribution system.
Right.
You are using these local creators as your format inventors. You let the local audience vote on what is most engaging, and you only fund the verified winners.
It takes all the guesswork out of it. Okay, so we have the hero product, we have our nano creators, we have our brief, and our sparking gasoline advertising strategy.
We're ready to go.
But I'm putting myself in the shoes of someone observing this, or maybe a small business owner listening right now. What is the actual timeline to pull all of this off, and what does it cost?
Well, according to the frameworks developed by industry experts, a properly executed campaign requires a strict 90-day runway. It moves in very deliberate phases.
Okay, 90 days.
Yeah. Days 1 through 14 are entirely dedicated to operations and baseline measurement.
Which means no marketing at all yet. You are just aggressively stress testing your kitchen capacity to see where it breaks.
Correct. Fix the leaks first. Then, days 15 to 30 focus on content format testing and building out your actual lists of local creators.
Got it.
Then days 31 to 45 are for staff seating.
Staff seating, meaning you are actively getting your waitstaff and cooks used to the chaos of the new item before the public even knows about it, building that muscle memory.
Building muscle memory and finalizing early wait lists. Then, days 46 to 60 represent the actual public launch window.
Game time.
Game time. This is the moment your rapid response crisis plan must be ready, just in case demand spikes out of control.
Right.
And finally, days 61 to 90 are dedicated to paid amplification of the winning videos, retargeting the new customers you've captured, and analyzing the data to see who actually came back.
And alongside that strict 90-day timeline, there are 3 distinct budget tiers in our research. Let's start at the top, just to give people context of what the really big players do.
Sure. A high-budget launch for a national brand averages around $300,000, but honestly, it can easily exceed $500,000.
Wow.
Yeah. At that level, You are paying for substantial creator likeness rights, heavy media buying across multiple platforms, physical pop-up events, and really advanced media mix modeling.
Then you step down to the medium budget, which is usually for a regional chain. That averages around $50,000.
Right.
That gets you professional video production, meaningful paid media, some PR support, and dedicated landing pages for capturing customer data.
But the tier that matters most for the independent ecosystem is the low-budget tier. This averages about $6,500, though it can range anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000.
Okay, $6,500. That's way more approachable.
Very approachable. At this level, you rely heavily on high-quality smartphone production, content created by the owner themselves, and local nano creators who are willing to participate in exchange for tastings, exclusive experiences, or just small flat fees.
Let's actually break down how a small indie spot should spend that $6,500 because the allocation is fascinating.
Let's do it.
The recommendation is 30% on product and operations, 25% on local creators, 20% on paid amplification, 15% on content creation, and 10% on measurement and contingency.
Yeah.
Wait, I have to pause here. They are supposed to spend 30% of their tiny $6,500 marketing budget on product and operations. That's almost $2,000.
I know it sounds crazy.
Why wouldn't they throw all of that cash into paying bigger influencers to get more eyeballs? Upgrading your fryer baskets isn't marketing.
But in the hospitality industry, operations is marketing.
Really?
This brings us full circle right back to the viral value equation. If your campaign works brilliantly, like if the video is gorgeous and 1,000 people show up but your kitchen throughput fails, the wait times hit 2 hours and the food comes out cold, you completely lose the repeat factor.
Right. And if the repeat factor is 0, the whole equation equals 0.
Exactly. To put it in economic terms, a viral customer acquisition cost, or CACs, only makes financial sense if the lifetime value, the LTV, is sufficient.
Let's translate that for everyone who isn't a marketing nerd.
Fair enough. Simply put, CAC-E, what it costs you to get a new customer to walk through the door for the very first time. LTV is the total profit that customer brings you over the next 5 years of them coming back. The general rule of thumb is aiming for a 3-to-1 LTV to SAC ratio. So if it costs you $10 in marketing to acquire a customer, they need to generate at least $30 in profit over their lifetime of visiting your restaurant.
And you simply cannot retain a customer or build that lifetime value if they had a terrible first experience.
Never.
You might have acquired them super cheaply because of a great viral TikTok, but if they never return, you've essentially burned your money. Worse, you've potentially damaged your local reputation because now they are telling their friends not to go.
That is exactly why 30% goes to operations. The operations budget ensures that when the massive spotlight finally hits the restaurant, the machinery actually functions beautifully.
This has completely changed how I'm going to look at food trends on social media.
Good.
So to recap this journey for you, the listener, true restaurant virality is never an accident. It is meticulously engineered. It requires stepping back and designing a camera-ready hero product that can actually survive a kitchen rush. It requires trusting local nano creators with creative freedom, using smart tracking like POS codes, and amplifying only the proven, data-backed organic wins. And above all, it means operating on a strict 90-day runway with a smartly allocated budget that prioritizes kitchen operations just as much as view counts.
It really is a masterclass in controlled chaos.
It really is.
But, before we wrap up, there's one more layer to this that we haven't touched on. Something that builds on everything we've just discussed about engineering food for the screen.
Oh, what's that?
Well, we've talked extensively about human creators inventing formats and human chefs designing the silhouette of a sandwich to look good on a phone.
Right, the human element of basically trying to please the algorithm.
Exactly. But as data tracking gets more and more advanced, you have to wonder, how long until artificial intelligence is not just analyzing these engagement metrics, but actively generating the recipes and the plating designs themselves?
Oh, wow.
If we know exactly what color palettes, what textures, and what visual transformations trigger a viral response, will the future of the entire restaurant industry be reverse engineered by algorithms, dictating exactly what we want to eat based purely on what visually performs best on a screen before a human chef even enters the kitchen?
Wow. That is a wild thought. Are we going to be eating algorithm sandwiches designed by a server farm in California?
It's entirely possible.
It really is. Well, next time you see a line wrapping around the block for some crazy new food trend on your feed, I hope you'll look a little closer at the mechanics behind it. Was it a lucky break or a perfectly executed 90-day plan? Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. See you next time.
If you want more GTM playbooks like this, follow Neon Primer on Spotify. Neon Aliens builds the marketing systems your business actually needs to capture and convert leads. Learn more at neonaliens.com.